must stop now. I don't know what the time is. Oh, 5:50, dead on in the morning. I'm worn out, and yet I'm not. I'm flying, aren't I? Because I'm so pleased. Why? Because in a way, lightly, I've been touching on the presence of God, and it energizes you, fills you with hope, energy and power. It's what the love of God does. Look, it's not just for Marshall, for goodness sake, it's for you, it's for everybody, all his children, all his creation. He's a perfect God. He leaves no one out. He has no favourites. He has no favourites. You read John 17, it says that thou hast loved them as thou hast loved me. Wow. I mean, you may have some fantasy view of God's love for Jesus, and that's for you as well. Do you realize the universe and much beyond is your oyster? Heaven is your home, and there's no way anything can stop you arriving there, because God, all powerful and all loving, is your dad. Why would you want to trust and believe in anything other than that? It's not rocket science, is it? Any fool could believe it. Perhaps you need to be a fool to believe it. But perhaps you need to believe it to know in your heart, to come to realize what you truly value. Here I stand, you know. Who was it? Asked God, Martin Luther, isn't it? Nails his endpoints to the door of the cathedral, or his church, or whatever it was. I think it was a cathedral. Here I stand. If our God does not rescue us, still we could not worship you. Find out what you truly value in your heart. Personify that as your God. Love him with all your heart, soul, mind and strength. It's very easy to do, because it's the personification of what you value. And you're going to trust he's sort out anything you've misunderstood. That's no problem to God. Only to you. Because he loves you. He is faithful and true. He is what integrity is. These tiny, insignificant atoms that you can't even see and scarcely can imagine have infinite power within them, are a vibrating mass of energy beyond your comprehension. If you like, apparent electrons moving at apparent speeds, apparently close to the speed of light. The stars at night are a mere trace of an infinite number of galaxies, of innumerable stars. And this universe, perhaps, one of an infinite number. And you might feel very small about that. until you realize, until you trust in your heart, it's all because of personhood, purpose, will, creativity, order. Qualities of God and of man, of course, if we're children of God, and if we have the same qualities as God, then we're children of God. And who would own any other God than that? In uncertainty, which we are unquestionably in. Everything's uncertain here. Choose you this day, therefore, in freedom, whom you will serve. Not obey because of certainty and the awesome overpoweringness of God that you have no freedom at all, but must obey. You'd be mad, absolute madman not to. But choose you this day because you are free in your ignorance to choose to love God or not to choose to love God. I do it according to my heart. And if your heart chooses to choose God, how wonderful. Who are you that you should do such? Child of God, of course. It's in you, genetically, in a spiritual sense now. You're born of God. Of course you're drawn to trusting in a perfect God. You're a child of God, it's in you. He's in you. You know, I can cough in a certain way. My dad died, I don't know how many years ago now, 1970 or something, I don't know. He died at the age of 62, born 1909, you can work it out. I can cough in a certain way, and I know how Dad feels with the way he used to cough. And I could mimic him when I was a child, and did, of course. Only to Mum. Wouldn't risk doing it to him, of course. But do you see? Your heavenly Dad is in you. Your heavenly Dad. Read John 17 if you're not sure. Need some confirmation? Have it from the Jesus view. That we may be one. I in them and thou in me. That they may be one in us. And that the world may know that thou hast sent me. And hast loved them as thou hast loved me. He's talking about you and me in the story. If this story grabs you, run with it. With all your being, you will not be disappointed. Bless you, and you are blessed. Thank you, Heavenly Dad, and I've gone on too long. 27 minutes. Oh no, I've added to it, didn't I? I could have made this a separate, perhaps I'll make this a separate recording. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.